Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better You, Better Society. My name is Samuel Emmanuel Dickerson Jr. Better You, Better Society is an organization that is really just for the people. We aim to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves, and for others. So today we are joined with Chris Moses, who is a father, an entrepreneur, and an active and productive member of our community. How you doing, Chris?
How you doing? How you feeling today?
Feeling all right. I'm so grateful that you're able to be here.
Yes.
So I heard that you were running for the school board trustee.
Yes.
So when is the election?
So it's absentee ballots, and the absentee ballots got to be back by June 9th. So I believe the first week of June, I think they'll be sending them out. You're going to get one. It'll say like election material. It'll come to every registered voter within your house. And, you get your ballot, you check it off. It's in a prepaid envelope. You pop it back in there and you just bring it back to the mailbox, or even, leave it in your mailbox. Your mailman will come as long as he sees that, it's already sealed and everything. And then you just send it right back. So it's all absentee ballots for this time.
All right, cool. Thank you. Now, for somebody that's lived in Uniondale for the past 16, 17 years, I don't hear about that position a lot.
Yep, and that's one of the issues, but go ahead.
So can you tell me more about the position and what's it like? What purpose does it serve?
So basically what a school board trustee does is that we help develop the mission statement, the strategic goals, as well as the objectives of the school system. We also look into the budget. We look at the different programs, and we want to make sure that our scholars are getting the best from our school district. A lot of it does have to do with our budget and monitoring that budget, making sure that the tax dollars are being spent the correct way.
Gotcha. All right. So I have a few questions here. So tell us about yourself and what inspired you to run for school board trustee.
So a lot of it was my beginning stages with the school district was being in the PTA. So I started slowly. I started as, I believe I was legislative chair. So you go to one meeting a month, and then you learn about new legislation, and you learn, stuff like that pertains to your school district. That's how I started. And then I just rose up. I went from the legislative chair, then I went to secretary, then I went to vice president, and then I became president. With all of that time, I started to learn and see that there was changes that needed to be made in our district. And that kind of catapulted me to say, you know what, listen, I have 3 kids in this system, and there's no reason why, if there's a position open that I can help my children as well as everyone else's children, let's go for it and give my all, learn more, and be more involved in the intricacies of the department.
So what are some of the major issues that you see?
So some of the first things, one thing that I'm, kind of focused on a lot is that the teachers, is that we don't have enough minority teachers. So, the demographic of Uniondale is Black and Spanish. Why do we not have more Black and Spanish teachers? That's one thing that's huge to me, because I feel like that fixes a lot of the issues we have. If a teacher can relate more, well, first of all, it's a proven fact that a child that has a teacher that looks like them will learn better. That's just a fact. So you also will be able to, that teacher can relate to the parents as well. Imagine you have a Spanish teacher talking to a Spanish parent. They can talk, they can understand each other. If that teacher doesn't speak Spanish, how does that get done? So I think getting teachers that, represent our students, or the demographic of our students, is one of the main things that we can fix. Now, I want to be clear that a school board trustee does not hire teachers. That is not my job. But what I can do is look into hiring practices. We hire the administrators that hire the teachers, so we can look into all of those different things.
Yeah. And that's so important, because I feel like me as a Black boy growing up, I'm looking at all of these white faces. And, you know,
Yep.
I'm not saying that they weren't kind or whatever, but I began to build a perception as like any face of authority or any face of intelligence or status is white. And that's subconscious. It wasn't until I got older and now I'm starting to like branch out. And now I'm seeing, you know, black teachers, black doctors, black lawyers. So I feel like if you can start planting that seed in the minds of our youth at an early age, their whole perception of themselves will be completely different. They won't have
representation. Representation matters. I know everybody have seen that hashtag everywhere, and it's true. Representation matters. A teacher can relate better when they understand. You know, my wife is a teacher, so she can relate to her parents. You know, my son's name is Jaden, so she can say, listen, I have a little Jaden at home. My daughter, I have a little Jordan at home. I understand what you're going through. I understand, and they can relate more. Listen, and this is not to bash the teachers that we have now, because both you and I are graduates, and look at where we are. Taylor Darling, look at where she is. These are graduates of Uniondale that excelled and did amazing. So we don't want to say that there's, you know, that our teachers that we had were, you know, the worst teachers ever. They're good teachers, but we still need that demographic. We still need that representation there, you know, and we need to work on that. And that's something that I plan on working on. That's something that's really big to me, and that's something that I plan on working on, because it's just like a waterfall. You start fixing that, and others' problems and other issues get fixed.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So my next question is, and I didn't know this about you. You are a volunteer Uniondale firefighter, and you have been with the department for over 10 years. So volunteering to put your life on the line is a pretty amazing way to help others. Tell us more about that.
All right. So, yes, I've been in the fire department for over 10 years, and I rose to the ranks of captain. The great thing about the fire department, and this is for all of our youth, and this is one thing I want to work on when I get, you know, hopefully if I get elected, one thing I want to work on is getting the fire department, the police explorers, all of that more involved in the school district, because it teaches leadership skills. So let me tell you a little story. I was at work one day, and one of my, you know, colleagues found out that I was a volunteer fireman. He found out I was a captain, and he's like, his question was, how do you get people to listen and do what you say as a captain, and you're not paying them? Because it's the volunteer fire department. And that is what I learned. And I didn't even realize that I learned how to be a captain of a whole house of men, of 30 men, and command them and have them do stuff, and we're not paying them, you know? And I was able to command them and make things done right. They, you know, going to calls and making sure the house was, you know, the firehouse was ran right. And those leadership skills helped me throughout my actual career. Throughout my actual career working at Northwell, where I work now, and I'm over 13 EEG labs, I didn't have much leadership skills or anything, but I grabbed that from the fire department, and that's what I used. I couldn't believe how much I relied on that skill that I learned, and that was from volunteering in my community.
So you want to take that experience and make it something that's like easier, accessible to like our youth, so they can
they can see that. And then on top of it all, you're giving back to your community. You know, You're giving back to your community. You learn the people in the community through the different events, through the different things. Listen, everybody loves a fire truck, right? You know, when I'm in front of my firehouse and I see kids go walking by, hey, come in here. I learned all the kids, you know. One thing, you know, I'm very proud of is that when I was during the summers, I'm usually in front of the firehouse. There's a lot of guys out there. If I see our young youth walking by, I'll grab them, say, hey, what are you doing? Why are you not a junior? And that's what we have, the junior program. Come on. Come over here and learn this. Come look at this fire truck. Come look at this. When's the last time you've been next to a fire truck? Most kids haven't, you know. We see them going by, but now come over in here and get on this fire truck. You're also going to learn. And then you're in a space with a bunch of positive role models. Everyone here is a blue collar, white collar worker. We're volunteers, so we work some other places. So you come in, you get to learn, you get, you know, that connection of, hey, I got a job hiring, but you know, Sam is over there, he needs a job. You know what? Let me grab him and pull him over here. Listen, we have this position open. So the fire department was like one of my first steps in the community was learning that, you know, and getting involved with that. And that, you know, that is like you said, the ultimate give back, you know, to the community, being a fireman, and you learn so much. So definitely, that's something that I want to push for our children, is to get involved in our community, and they can start with, the fire department.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being like a huge source of pride for our youth once they get involved with a program like that. And once again, that gives them a little bit higher self-esteem. They begin to walk up a little bit straighter,
right.
Confidence, and that affects everything that they do for the rest of their life. So I really think that would be an amazing initiative to push forward.
Yep.
All right. So my next question is, explain your philosophy. We must invest in our community to keep it our community.
So that's basically, what we need to do is we have to be a part of our community. People want our community, whether you realize it or not. I don't know if you know about, and a lot of people don't know about what happened with the East Garden City thing, where, Garden City was trying to take over Uniondale and call it East Garden City. I don't know if people know about that. And why? Is because our taxes are low. Our homes are beautiful in Uniondale, and our taxes are pretty low. Why? Because we have EAB Plaza, which is Rex and Corp now. We have Nassau Coliseum. We have all these places that pay some of our taxes, which brings our cost of our taxes down. So other towns see this and they want this. So if we don't get involved, people will try to come and take it. Not to mention, this is our community. This is where we live. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of it? And Sam, to be honest, I don't think a lot of it is that people don't want to do it. It was just like what you said. You didn't know anything about school board trustee. It's that they don't know. We don't know. Before I was in the PTA, I didn't know anything about it either, So that's what it is. It's creating that parent involvement or community member involvement so they can understand what's going on. And listen, everyone has 5, 6 jobs, everything's going on, but we still live here, right? We have to do something, whether it's an hour here or whether it's one day here or, one day out of the month, I'm going to go to this meeting and learn and just vote for this or anything. It's very important, and not to, throw bad light on, no voting. But one thing that I have an issue with is that everyone will stand online to vote for the president, but won't stand online to vote for your own school budget. Yeah. Won't stand online to vote for your local, local elections. Like this stuff, listen, the president does affect you, but this stuff directly affects you. And I don't think it's so much that they don't want to, it's just they don't understand. They don't know, So we have to create that. And it's people like me and you that stay in this community that got to show them, like, this is what you need to do. So,
one of the goals that I have for this interview is I want to create, I want younger people, age 20 to 35, 40, to feel the significance in them, going out and voting and doing things like that. So, why is it important for, people, 20 to 40 years old, or let's say even 20 to 30, to get out and vote?
Very important, because again, hold on one second. Let me just close this. Looks like they're mowing the lawn next door. Sorry about that.
Right.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Because they're mowing the lawn next door. It's very important for us to get out and vote. Very important, because our voice can be heard, especially in these local elections. And like I said, it really is about people not knowing. I don't think that it's that people just don't care. Because if I tell you about an issue or I tell you what's going on, most likely you're going to be intrigued. Like, wait, this is going on where I live? This is going on in my community? Well, listen, I work 5 jobs and I do this, but what can I do? And that question right there is what we have to now interject. This is what you can do. You can vote for this. You can look in this, or don't just vote. Here's this literature. Go online. Look at this. These are the candidates that are running. Like me now, I'm running with, 3 other candidates. Take a second and sit on one of these, debates or these meet the candidate nights that we have. So at least you are informed on who to vote. It may not be me. You might say, you know what, this person is better. But you have that power to do that. And that's what we got to do. We gotta start worrying about our local elections. Not a lot more, but we need to worry about those local elections that we're not doing. We're bypassing it and we're skipping. So it's we forget all of this, but we vote here. So it's yeah, we voted here, but all of this void, you didn't vote. Huh? You didn't say anything, and your voice wasn't there. So,
and I definitely think that more so has a more direct impact, like you said, on our lives here, on my younger siblings and my younger cousins' lives that are actually in the school system right now. That leads me to my next question. Right now, just so everybody knows, who do you think is the majority voting population when it comes to things like the school board trustee? Like, what age demographic?
So I would think mostly that the voting probably is probably 40 and above. The younger of Uniondale aren't voting for these local things like this. So I think 40 and above. Listen, there are some people that are like us that were involved, so we know, but there's a lot of us that aren't. And I think that, a lot of it is, older people that are voting, that are, maybe retired. They have more time to dedicate and listen and stuff like that. And sometimes what'll happen is, if your mom or your father is very dedicated, they'll grab you and say, hey, go vote for this. You don't even know what you're voting for, but you're doing it. Still good, because this is still community members that care about it, care about our community. But we got to be involved more as younger people and more involved to what's going on in our community, because guess what? This is our community. Eventually, we're going to be the only ones here, We're going to be the ones taking over, and we want to make sure it's good for our children.
And I really think that people, I don't have kids right now, I'm 26. I really think people that are, 20 to 30 that may not have kids yet, that, live in Uniondale, that went to Uniondale, they should definitely make it a priority to vote, because we just relatively got out of school. So we have more of an understanding of the inner workings of it and how it works in reality, rather than my neighbor who might be really dedicated to the community, but she's making a voting decision based off of how it was 50 years ago, not based off of how it is now.
Exactly. And it has a lot to do with, again, representation. I feel that, voting for us, the younger generation that goes into positions like I'm trying to go into, it sparks something in the people that I graduated with. Like, wow, that's Chris. Chris is doing that. Oh, I know Chris. I know him. Oh, okay. And then I'll be like, well, wow, he's running for that? Well, what can I do? And the first thing I'm going to say is join your local PTA. Join your school's PTA. That's the first step, So that representation for us young people matter. We come in and we do that. That's who I'm going to grab. That's who I'm going to say, hey, come over here. I know you. On Facebook, I actually put a post when I first was going to run, and I said, the problem with me running is all of you that I know of that have children in this district, I'm going to be on you guys. That's the problem. I'm going to be on Facebook in your direct message like, hey, there's a vote. Are you coming out for it? Hey, your school is having this. Are you coming out for it? So I said, that's the only problem that you're going to get a vote me, is that I know you guys. So I'm going to be there like, hey, this is your kid. Why are you dropping them off in the morning and then picking them up in the afternoon and that's it? No, we got to be involved. That's the only way that we're going to make sure that our scholars are tip top,
Yeah. Back to what you said before about the representation. When I saw that you were running, that inspired me, not necessarily to do anything specific, but definitely to achieve and strive for greatness. When I seen it, I lit up, I was like, oh, snap. It just kind of opened up a world of possibility. Like, wow, I want to run for office,
Yeah, so if he can do this, I can do this. And that's how it is. And that's one thing, I always, preface and say, I'm not a politician. I'm just a concerned community member and a father. And if you live here, you're the same way. If you're not a father yet, you're a concerned community member. You can do what I do, and you can have this voice, even if I don't win, even if I don't, I'm still there. I'm still in there. I'm still in the PTA. I'll still be involved with all these other community. We have UCC, we have GUAC, we have No String Gardens. These are meetings that, No String Gardens is a meeting which I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know about. No String Gardens is a meeting that everybody comes to. When I say everyone, I mean a representative from the fire department, a representative from the library, a representative from the police department. Every single thing that affects you is at this meeting. And if you have a question, they're there to answer it.
Okay.
If you have a problem, they're there to fix it. But who knows about these meetings? Our younger people don't. These meetings are full. Go ahead.
Let me segue to now something that's really relevant in our country right now. Police brutality and just, all the tension between our youth, our young black men, and the police. So do you feel like young black men attending more of these meetings can definitely prevent certain problems between our youth and police in the future?
Number one, yes, going to these meetings and voicing their opinion, talking to the officers that come, or, to whoever's that's to come in, the captains of the fire department, or of the police department. But more importantly, exposing themselves to this, because then maybe they want to grow up and be a cop. Maybe they are in a transition period. Maybe you graduated from high school, you went to Nassau, you're like, I'm not sure what I want to do. But now you went to this meeting, you saw, the officers, and you're like, you know what? Maybe this is something I can do, and go take the test, and then come back to your community and maybe come and police in your own community, So this is exposure. And the Nostrand Gardens meeting is not only for adults. Bring your kids. You can bring a child, bring your 16-year-old that might be able to see that. They might see the fireman up there and see, you know what, the way he answered that question was amazing. What does he do? Oh, he's a fireman? Oh, maybe I could start being a volunteer fireman and then maybe move on to the city and be a paid fireman. It's all about exposure and representation. And that is like the key to me, especially for our communities, So, yeah.
Definitely. Wow, we ran through
a lot.
All of my questions. I didn't even have to ask them. We just kind of segue into them.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a question. So you're looking to hire more teachers, or making sure that more minority teachers are hired. Mm-hmm. What would you do about the current teachers?
Okay, so again, just to be clear, like, that's not the job of a trustee, is to hire. We don't hire teachers. We hire administrators, and then what we can do is look into the hiring practices and stuff like that to make sure. And then we hire administrators, make sure they're doing their job, that's doing the right thing by that. The current teachers, like I said, we're all here now and we're doing great. So some of the current teachers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I think what needs to be done is diversity training, maybe. We can look into that diversity training for the current teachers, just to get them better equipped. You know what? Also, not so much, even if it's very important to get our teachers that look like our students, but even if, let's say that's not available and we do have a great teacher, we need to look at where they live. People don't think how that's a problem. If this person is being hired and they live in Montauk's Point, what do you think at 3 o'clock they're doing? Are they staying after to do anything? They're out of here. They got a 2-hour ride home, So we need to also look at that, because maybe if the teacher lives closer, they're more, they'll stay longer. They'll stay for the after school program. Hey, I only live 20 minutes away. You know what? I'll stay and help you guys out and do this. I'm not rushing to beat traffic to get out of there, So I think a lot, to reel it back, I think that what we need to do is maybe for the teachers now, diversity training, and let them understand our culture a little bit more. Understand what we're going to, and maybe they can relate better with those type of trainings with the parents, which can get the parents involved. It always comes back to the parents, If you can relate with that parent, you can get them involved more. If you can't, they're going to be like, all right, So if you can relate with them, you can get them more involved and say, hey, listen, I need you to just come out here or come and do this. So definitely, that's what I think. The diversity training will definitely help. And, this is what I have to learn as a trustee. I'm not sure if they have that in place yet, and I will find out if they have stuff like that in place. Different diversity trainings to learn the community that you work in,
Right. So how can people find out more about the election, find out more about what your viewpoints are and what your objectives are? Like, where can we find out more of this information?
So first, social media. Social media is the greatest. You can go on there. There's different, like I said, there's the Uniondale Community Council, UCC. You go on Facebook and you type in UCC, you type in GUAC, you type in Nostrand Gardens Association, you type those things in, and they give tons of information. For this election, it's all absentee ballots. So what they're going to do is they're going to send an absentee ballot to your home. Every registered voter in your home will get one. You check off, hopefully my name, and you send it back. And that's how that vote will go. But if you go on Facebook, you'll definitely get the days of the meetings for these different societies and these different councils. And then your PTA. If you ask your PTA of your child's school, you can find a lot of information. Your PTA, the presidents, the vice presidents, they know all of this because these are the meetings they go to. These are the things that they're involved in. So that's, a great way. And, also you can reach out to me, go on Facebook, Christopher Moses, and, look me up, and you could definitely, ask me anything. I'll give you my number in the messages and we can talk. I've talked to many people. I'm not, that's one thing that I have is transparency, like ask me, whatever you want to ask me. And I'll tell you, if I don't know, I'll find out. But
yeah, definitely. Well, all right. I just want to end this off by saying, guys, make sure you go out and you vote. If you're young and you don't have kids, still go out and vote, because you can make a positive impact for, your neighbor's child or the other youth that are coming up. And you can make a big difference in the school system so that when you have children, they have a better experience than you had growing up.
That's right.
So, Chris, thank you for your time.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
All right, guys. Peace out, and be the best that you can be. Lead by example, carry yourself with confidence, and be great. We love you.